my channel and welcome to day 3 of Whole Grain Week. If you're just joining us, we are celebrating whole grains this week by sharing 5 delicious whole grain based recipes all week long. So there's been a new video all week and I'm really excited about today's recipe because we are using a whole grain that I bet many of you haven't tried before. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to make a homemade baked falafel recipe, and the whole grain that we're using is amaranth. We are using Bob's Red Mill amaranth. We are partnering with Bob's Red Mill all week long. And amaranth, if you aren't familiar with it, is a little tiny whole grain similar to quinoa, but even smaller. So it's teeny tiny, and it cooks up nice and fluffy if you cook it, but we actually aren't cooking it today. We're using the raw amaranth seed in our recipe. Like I mentioned, the falafel recipe is baked, and we're using a really simple ingredient list, and adding in the amaranth uncooked adds this really nice kind of crunchy texture to the falafel. It has an amazing flavor and it's so delicious. I love putting this on top of salads, but you could also put it in a sandwich or a pita, and it's so tasty. So let's go ahead and dive into the recipe. Don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video because we will talk a little bit more about amaranth and some of the nutritional properties of it. So let's go ahead and dive into the falafel. For this recipe, we're going to need 1/4 cup of Bob's Red Mill amaranth, 1 can of chickpeas, 2 garlic cloves, the juice of half a lemon, 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper, and 2 tablespoons of quinoa flour, as well as 1.5 cups of parsley and 1 cup of cilantro. So here I just wanted to show you what amaranth looks like. You can tell that it looks like quinoa, but a teeny bit smaller. So we're gonna start by adding the herbs, the garlic, and the lemon juice into a food processor and just blend that up until it becomes chopped up and combined. So then you'll add your chickpeas, your amaranth, your salt and your pepper, and then just scrape that down and pop the lid on and mix this up until it starts to form a dough. I had to scrape the sides down halfway through so that I could get it to really blend. So you might want to do that if you need to. But then once your dough forms, you're going to want to add in your 2 tablespoons of quinoa flour, and then you can just pulse that in until the mixture becomes a little bit more dry. Once that's in together, the texture you'll see is this. It's going to be sticky enough that it forms into little balls. Then you'll want to chill this in the fridge for 30 minutes to help it firm up. Once it's been chilled, you can shape it with your cookie scoop or with your hands. Either one works. And I will link the cookie scoop that I use in the description box below. Once you've scooped them all out, you can then shape them. And I just like to kind of push them together so that they don't break apart when I bake them. And then you'll bake them at 350 degrees for 20 minutes. Once they're baked, you can serve them right away. I served mine with cabbage, sprouts, and an amazing tahini dressing. I'll link the one I used in the description box below. But again, you can serve them in a pita, in a sandwich, with a salad, or you can even just use these as a snack. And they also freeze really well, so you can freeze them and have them for later. And there you have it, my friends. That is how to make my baked falafel. As you can see, it's super simple to make, and you guys have been asking for a falafel recipe for a while, so this is now my go-to, and I hope it becomes your go-to as well. So amaranth is a teeny tiny seed. Like I mentioned, it's similar to quinoa, but smaller. It's round and white, just like quinoa is, and it lends itself really well to creamy things like porridge. You can also add it into soups or stews, and you can enjoy it raw like we did in this recipe. Amaranth is high in protein and fiber. It also is a complex carbohydrate, which means it digests more slowly in your system, so it'll help to keep you fuller for longer. And it's really just a fun grain to try to incorporate. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend that you pick up a bag from Bob's, try it in this falafel recipe, and also try it in porridge. It's delicious in porridge. If you end up trying this recipe, make sure to tag my handle on Instagram at simplyquinoa, but also use the hashtag wholegrainweek so that I can find your photo and we can all kind of share all of our delicious whole grain recipes together. The recipe for this falafel is in the description box below if you want to check that out. Also make sure to sign up for my email list because I will be sending out a free ebook that contains all of the recipes from Whole Grain Week, and you can do that again in the description box below. So we're only on day 3 of Whole Grain Week, which means we have 2 more recipes to go. Tomorrow is a breakfast recipe, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I'm giving you my trick for making the creamiest steel-cut oats in the entire world. So good. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.